119 million. We've moved youth in sports from 4.7 million to 7.1 million, and that does not include the money at NLA. We've moved equity from 54 million to 62 million, and we've moved agriculture from 25 million to 28 million. Mr. Speaker, this is where the money has gone. We have not backed down from our responsibilities to the people of this country, and nor we ever will, because we have an ambition to build a new St. Lucia for everyone in this country.
Café bye. Café bye.
Say how good evening. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Champagne, and good evening to all listeners of Sky FM, GVD TV, and those following us on Facebook. Tonight it's Monday night, and we are once again inside Castries Southeast. I'm just coming from Cabinet Champagne, and I'm here tonight to deal with the issues of governance. And I believe that with the election, the impending election, that I need to begin my campaign on Sky FM.
Yes, you said that.
A lot of people tell me, oh, you don't need to campaign. I love to campaign, Champagne.
Yeah.
I do love
I understand.
the thrill of campaigning,
right.
And the excitement and everything that it brings, although COVID will limit our ability and our capacity to campaign to the extent that we want. But I believe it is an election that is going to be very thought-provoking, one where people will have to show their understanding of the real issues and vote not so much on emotion or hype, but on the reality that we are faced with. So I send special greetings to all the people of Castries Southeast. Tonight, while I will deal with some general issues, my main focus will be on my constituency, what is happening, what is not happening, and what we expect to happen in the future. So, tout mamay apawes Castries Southeast, mwen kado un spécial bonsoir tout moun ki ka supporte mwen oli won set lisi ngadu bonsoir ek tout moun a tout pawes mwen sav nou ni moun a Miami, nou ni moun a Boston, nou ni moun a Texas, nou ni moun New York, jis Canada ou sav nou ka ni regular moun ka kouye from la. From n'importe côté où y est la terre, moi ka do a special bonsoir, special good night to everyone. To those persons who have lost loved ones in the constituency, I extend my sympathies to you, the Eugene family from Forestier, who put their loved one to rest on Saturday. In fact, the funeral was at the Marshall Church.
Okay.
I was present at the funeral, and the burial took place in Forestier. To Miss Bowen, that's better known as Tinel in Badi Chaussee, her funeral will be on Wednesday at the Jacknell Church. I extend condolences to the family, and may God give all of you the strength to cope with the situation. Champagne, tonight, I have promised some information which I will give to the people, but I want to just focus on some general issues. This morning, I happened to have heard a caller on What Makes Me Mad on Andre Paul's program. And it is amazing what passes for information in this country. The foolishness that you hear people say. And I guess because there's a forum, there's a medium through which people can speak, that people who present themselves as being intelligent would talk so much nonsense in this country. And I heard a call on Andre Paul's program talk about how so much borrowing that the government of St. Lucia under Alan Chasney as Prime Minister has done. And do you know that all the borrowings that they claim that we have done prior to COVID, and even with COVID, if you add up everything for the 5 years of UWP and the 5 years of Labour, the debt of the country has not increased by more under a UWP government than under an SLP government. Now, it's very sad that people would come with all kinds of false information about. And one of the things they've been advocating is that the World Bank gave us money to give people, and we did not use the money for the purpose for which it was given. Now, nothing is further from the truth than that, champion. Any bank that gives you a loan and there are stipulated conditions, you are required to abide by the conditions of the loan.
Right.
So, pasala bank la, swale First National Bank, ek wai pou an loan, ek ou di se kayo kay bati, ek loan ek yo baw loan na pou kay la. Ou pas apre loan se kay gen an motoka, ek pa bil kay la.
No.
Ou kopan sa, champion? So, if that is the case, the World Bank, with its reputation at stake, would allow the government of St. Lucia to borrow money from them and not check that the money is used for the purpose for which it was intended. I mean, and in people who present themselves as being intelligent. Now, you know what the key problem is in this country? Too many people who think they are bright allow politicians to think for them. So no matter what they see, if you tell them the sky is blue, and a politician tell them the sky is red, they will come, even though with their own eyes they see that the sky is blue, they will still tell you the sky is red, because some politician who is more stupid than them told them that the sky is red. Is that what we have become as a country? And tonight, when we open the lines, I want any one of them to call me and challenge me on the information I am giving them. I will engage them. I will have a discussion with them about it, because it is important for people to understand the stage we are at in our development. All the good ideas do not reside in the head of politicians. And people with PhDs, with master's degree, with bachelor's degree, people you think who have basic common sense, would come and tell you a set of foolishness because a politician said so. So the records are there to show how much money this government has borrowed. And no matter how many times they say it, it does not change the fact that the government has borrowed a certain amount of money.
That's right.
Now, I didn't come here to deal with that tonight. I'm just mentioning that by way of passing. He said, oh, the future, the young people will have loans to pay. Every loan that this government has undertaken has had its revenue stream prior to COVID. And the loans they talk about are the roadworks.
Yeah.
So they accuse us of borrowing to fix roads. And I will highlight it again. I have it. Office of the Director of Audit St. Lucia Special Audit Report. That's not from a politician. April 2007. The government of the St. Lucia Labour Party. The audit was done in 2007. But the audit was done under the Ministry of Communications, Works, Transport and Public Utilities, East Coast Road Rehabilitation Project and Road Development Project, RDP. Now, if you go through this audit report, Champagne, here's what happens. Inefficient use of government funds. A management fee of 10% in the sum of $655,167 was added to the expenditure incurred by DWI in support of the Special Projects Unit on behalf of the government of St. Lucia. The decision to use DWI to procure goods and services instead of procuring goods in accordance with government procurement procedures resulted in avoidable expenditure, which subsequently increased the cost of the project. I forgot my glasses, my reading glasses tonight, but I think I'm doing well enough. Imagine this, Champagne. You know what was happening under the Labour Party government when it came to road project? They had a consultant, and when they talk about foreigners, that consulting company was a foreign company. DWI, D-I-W-I.
Not rice.
Not rice.
Not rice.
DWI was ordering things on behalf of the government of St. Lucia and charging a 10% commission. They were paying the salaries of people working in the Special Projects Unit. So they pay the salaries today for the government. If next week the government pay them, they get a 10% commission or interest. I mean, who does that kind of thing? If the UWP does that today, what will they tell you? Say, bobola mun cafe. Ebe yona benefis an diwi. So ki mun giten benefis an diwi? Le arrangement sa afet. So, they say we are wasting money on roads. But everybody can go and see every piece of road that has been done. And I know y'all are going around. And y'all are seeing. But what we have she make it happen. Mamem de hot how to chi make it happen a department spider, a constituency spider. The Labour Party gave contracts for roads of $76,999. Lagan $43,750,000. RDP free CCI. All of that foreign, not my words. All of that foreign. CCI $23,515,158.93. Consultancy DWI $7,402,840.67. According to the audit report, at the time it was published, you know how much money it was showing? The paid, amount paid, 100 on the $43 million, they paid $133,502,577. Now there was some reconciliation of figures after that, and they said it was $101 million that was paid. So whichever way they want to show it,
So Mr.
on a
Minister,
$43 million
I was
project,
about to say that.
they
Yeah.
paid over $100 million.
So where the balance of the money came from? Because the project was estimated 43 million. It
They
got up
went
to
and take another loan.
Yeah, that's why I want,
another loan from CDB
that's right.
that we must still be paying now. Then the amount for CCI was 23 million. At the time of the audit, they had paid up to 49 million on a $23 million contract. And my understanding is the final payment was in the region of 53 million on a $23 million project.
Now, I'm sorry to interject. I'm only saying this because when the caller you heard today, or whoever the individual was, talks about the young people has to pay those loans. Who are paying those loans on that West Coast, that South Coast road?
Okay.
Who are paying the loans? And that was what? That was 2007. When was that? Was
These
204.
projects happened between
204.
1997 and 2006.
Thereabout. So who's paying the loan up until today?
Now, the best part of it is you give a consultant. Now listen to me. A consultant job is to design, to adjust, to evaluate the work.
Yeah.
Here how much money the consultant got paid. From $7,400,000, the consultant got paid $21,570,000.
Consultancy?
Consultancy.
21 million?
Yes.
On one project?
On the two projects that are highlighted, the Wagon and the RDP.
My goodness.
$21 million. But this same caller will call and complain about a road that he see happening up there, and he's complaining about the price of the road, which is about $15 million. And they build one bridge. The concrete you see in the drains up there and the sidewalk is already 5 times the amount of concrete that was used in the Badoas Bridge. Yet still the bridge costs over $13 million.
13 million. Yeah.
What is wrong with us?
A basic bridge, because that's all we see. A basic bridge.
And people will call media houses, talk foolishness. And then people cannot even answer them to say, look, but I must tell you, I was happy with Andre's responses to that particular caller and highlighting to the caller some of the things. Then the caller went on to talk about unemployment. Or Chasney is not a good prime minister because unemployment is about 22%. Under COVID, unemployment is 22%. With no disaster, no COVID, nothing, unemployment was over 24% under a Labour Party government. What is it we want in this country? Governments cannot work miracles, but the management of this economy has been nothing short of a miracle by this Prime Minister.
That's right. That's right.
Nothing short of a miracle. So you go on to, and I listened. I did try to get the line on Andre to respond, but I did not get through. And then I had to go to cabinet, so I did not persist on trying to get through. Then the caller went on to say about youth unemployment being about 40% under Alan Chasney. Youth unemployment was over 44% on the Labour Party. Prior to COVID, we had brought down youth unemployment to 34%, and overall unemployment from 24% to 16.8%. I mean,
the caller was not on island.
what is it that is wrong with us that we want to dispute what is factual.
Yeah. I think the caller was in Alaska.
Viewfort has more jobs today than it ever did under the 15 years of Dr. Kenny Anthony as Prime Minister.
That is a fact.
Now, if as Prime Minister you cannot create jobs in your own constituency, I have created more jobs in my constituency than Dr. Anthony created in Viewfort in his 15
And Pierre
years.
combined. Well, Pierre, forget it. Pierre, forget it. Pierre took away jobs from Castries in the thousands. So forget that.
So, I thought I needed to highlight that.
I wanted to ask you something, Mr. Minister. So the 43 million, the first loan was from which bank?
As a bank, Caribbean Development Bank.
The additional loan was under the same bank?
Yes.
So what was the explanation? Do you know?
I don't know. The report doesn't give.
Oh, it doesn't give that?
tells you all of the wastage.
Yes.
That is there.
Okay.
Think of it. Think of we getting. Imagine if you tell me pay your bill for you this week, Champagne, and by next week I get a 10% commission. You know how happy I would be to pay your bill for you.
You'd paid all of
And
that.
remember, it's government paying them, so the money was guaranteed.
Guaranteed money.
So why couldn't government just pay the money themselves?
Guaranteed money.
You see how these fellas, how they manage things to siphon money from the country.
Yeah.
Imagine when you had Laplace Carinage under the Labour Party government, they put a management company in place who used to manage Laplace Carinage. And when they gave them money to pay the light bill, you know that they got 10% of the money for paying the light bill.
They got paid for paying something.
For paying.
How does that happen? Wow.
Ask the Labour Party. Ask Philip J. Pierre, Kenny Anthony, Alva Baptiste, and the fellas who served in the Labour Party, because Moses Jean-Baptiste, they are the ones who are there. And I keep on saying, am I missing something in this country?
Yeah.
Is there something that's not being comprehended? Because the records are there to show that when Laplace Carinage was being managed by the management company, and you know how I know that? Ansil was the name of the company that they had put to manage, and they were, so if SLASPA, if the light bill was $5,000 and they were given $5,000 to pay the light bill, they would deduct the 10%, which is $500, and then they would pay $4,500 on the light bill. So the light bill was, there's always
an arrest. I mean, that's the way these people did things.
So for these same callers today to want to come and call media houses and talk this foolishness, and for people of St. Lucia to accept that. Now, we've borrowed money and we've said what we are doing, and everybody can see what we are doing. Roads. We put $1.50 on a gallon of fuel. If you don't have a car, you don't pay that money. So when they say we squeeze in the poor people of this country, poor people don't have cars.
Ah, that's a fact.
Poor people can afford to have cars.
That's a fact.
So, and even if you are not poor, or even if you have a car, but you're not that well off, it's only when you drive your car. So if you drive your car for the week and you burn 5 gallons of fuel, depending on where you go for the week, that's $7.50 that you are paying towards fixing the roads, that you are saving on tires, wear and tear, rubbers, shocks,
which would cost
suspension,
you more in the long run.
In the long run.
Which would cost you more.
Brakes, clutch, especially if you have a manual vehicle. Every time you have to go down in a pothole, you have to ride the clutch. You wear and tear.
Or you're burning out your clutch.
Exactly. So for these people not to understand that. So you consume on average 20 million gallons of fuel a year. At $1.50, that's $30 million. So in 5 years, the $150 million that we borrowed from the Taiwanese to fix the roads,
Yeah. You could pay back.
you'll
Some
pay
of
it back. So what you telling me about generations
Yeah,
to
to
come
pay, yeah.
that we have borrowed
Yeah.
for these generations?
That's
to
what they
pay?
did. That is what they thinking. That was their
I
thinking.
want the people of St. Lucia to pay attention to the difference in management. Prime Minister Alan Shasney will never run this country bankrupt. This country can only be run bankrupt under a Labour Party
That
government.
is for sure.
Because he is finding the most creative and innovative ways of raising revenue at the same time without putting undue pressure on the people of the country. What taxes have we raised in this country in our 5 years
That's
in
right.
government?
Yeah.
And from the top of my head, I can tell you the Labour Party raised license fees. They raised water.
Levy on
They
the water.
introduced VAT, which was, according to their own estimation, criminal,
Yes. Yes.
oppressive.
That was the words of the Prime Minister, former.
He said VAT was oppressive when he was in opposition. As soon as he came in government, he put the same oppressive tax on the people.
15%.
And UWP would not have put in 15% if we had to introduce
exactly.
that. In fact,
15%.
under the leadership of Honorable Stevenson King, we did not introduce that. Labour Party came in and they introduced that. And even when we reduced that, they
still
said
have
we
a
should
problem.
not do that.
Yeah, you're going to lose $51 million.
Can you believe that?
These people.
We are reducing tax on the people of St. Lucia, and an opposition is saying we should not do that.
Yeah.
And
The Labour
people-
Party sent agents out to get property tax. People were running scared. That's not a joke. People were running scared. Those that have not paid property tax in a few years, the Labour Party make sure the inland revenue got their monies.
Yes.
Make sure. And what
to-
did this government do? What has they done in regards to
and
property
today,
tax?
Philip JP, I want to tell you he'll eliminate property
Yeah.
tax. How he doing
Could you
it?
believe it?
How is he doing it? Has he told anybody? Because I told you they want to take out these things to introduce VAT to either 18 or 22%.
Yeah.
And listen to the discussions of the Labour Party. They'll tell you, but Barbados has VAT as that at that amount. Now, let's go to the airport, because I need to put that in perspective for the people of St. Lucia. Under the UWP government, we introduced a $35 airport development tax.
Yeah.
I presented the cabinet memo before here, so I don't need to do so tonight. The Labour Party stopped collecting the tax. They say we have not put a shovel in the ground, so it's unfair to charge the people tax. There must have been over $50 million
Collected already.
collected in that logbox for the airport. Ask them what they did with the money. Ask the Labour Party, what did they do with that $50 million? They cannot tell you. They will give you some story about they started this and they started that. 50 million. They stopped the tax. Now, who was paying the tax? You work at the airport.
Of course.
90% of the people who come in are tourists.
Might even be 95.
So if the tourist is paying to develop an airport that when they come they can enjoy the facility, why should I have a problem
No,
with that?
shouldn't have it. Not the Labour Party though.
So the Labour Party came in and agreed to give the fellas $55 per passenger to develop the airport. And they make you believe, oh, under our model, St. Lucia not paying for the airport. Who building an airport for you for free? It would not be on the books as a debt, but you paying it, and you paying triple. And I want to give the people of St. Lucia the facts once again. Under UWP government, at the $35 for a year at 400,000 stay over, that's people who come through the airport, you are looking at 14 million US dollars a year. 14 million in 10 years would be 140 million. So
14 million US would be
14 million
US.
US,
right.
Yes.
Okay.
Would be 140 million US.
Okay.
10. Then you go to 30 years, which is what they were giving. 30 years would give you 420 million US dollars.
Wow.
How much money did
That's
we
1
borrow?
point something billion, you know, easy.
Yes. How much money did they say the airport costing? 600 million or thereabout.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's put that in perspective. At $35, in the 30 years, you'd collect over $1 billion
Yeah.
for an airport that cost $600 million. And remember, under the Labour Party model, they were building a smaller airport than what we have there. And they said the price would have been, was it about, I think about 88 million US or something like that.
So were they building a terminal or they were renovating the one current?
No, they were building a terminal, but they were building a much smaller terminal.
Okay.
They said they were reducing the size and whatever. But yet still you want to give a company the franchise to operate that airport for 30 years. And you offered the company 55 US per passenger. Now listen to this. At 55 US per passenger for 400,000 passengers, that would be $22 million
A year.
a year. At $22 million a year for 30 years, that would be 650 million US dollars. So you, and listen to me,
1.6 billion.
St. Lucia, the fellas who are developing the airport said the $55 is not enough. It's between $60 and $65. I did not even go and calculate that to get the other $2 or $3 million on that, which would take it to about $700 million or over $700 million.
Almost $2 billion.
You're going to pay a company $700 million to US to build an airport for you that costs 600 million easy. And on their model, if I go to their model, the airport was going to cost less than 400 million easy. Somebody want to put these people in charge of the affairs of St. Lucia. And who was the minister responsible for SLASPA? Philip J. Pierre.
That's right.
And Kenny D. Anthony, Minister of Finance and Minister of Port. So, Prime Minister Alan Chasney came in, and I was at the meeting while we were in opposition with the persons from the IFC who was working with the government, and we asked them, what's the added benefit to St. Lucia? What is the benefit? Now, let's look at it. We have now introduced the tax ourselves. We introduced the tax at $73. So right now the departure tax in St. Lucia is $98. And it is not higher than other countries. We are on par with most of the countries in the region. If Labour Party had done that, you know who would be collecting that $73? The foreign company. Under this arrangement, with us building the airport, $35 is still, we're still able to pay the airport with the $35. and there is a balance of $28 that is being used to finance part of the East Coast Road and other things that are related to public development.
Wow.
You see the genius.
Oh, that is genius.
That is the genius of the Prime Minister that we have there. And who is paying the bulk of that money?
The visitors.
The tourists.
That's right.
The visitors. Only those of us who can afford to board a plane, pay a ticket and go somewhere are the only ones contributing. The rest of the people who will never use the airport will never contribute 1 cent
And let me say
to
this,
the development of the airport.
the locals that travel with their families during the summertime, once a year, you know. You're talking people that
Exactly.
travel once a year. The only people that do frequent flying are maybe some of the speculators, maybe. That's it. But majority of St. Lucians that travel, you talk about once a year, twice a year for the most.
You know, Champagne, I want the people of St. Lucia to pay attention. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to take my word for it. The information is available.
Yeah.
We have presented it. I presented the cabinet memo where they agreed to the $55.
Yeah.
You have heard them in the parliament every day lamenting the fact that I would rather put the airport on my books, and after 10 years I finish paying the airport.
Yes.
The next 20 years, all the money that
profits
is collected
is yours.
belongs to St. Lucia.
That's right. That's right.
Why do I want to give a foreign company
That is simple. Simple.
almost 800 million EC dollars extra revenue? You know, under our arrangement, SLASPA continues to get its $25. So they tell you we are against locals. But yet still, they are the ones who are bringing in a foreign company to run our airport. What would happen to the workers at SLASPA?
Well, let me give you an idea about that, because my organization, the Red Caps Association, our president was brought in, and that is important for St. Lucia to know, for those people who are thinking this was a joke. Our association, the president of the Red Caps, was brought in, and we were given mandates. What we were supposed to do, if we were going to be, we had to reapply when that airport, when that company takes over. Reapply. Every entity at the airport was supposed to reapply. Nobody knew the fate of their jobs.
So the people in Viewfort don't know
They
that?
know it.
And the people of Viewfort will leave their Viewfort and its environs, because the majority of workers, the airport is the largest employer in Viewfort.
Yeah.
Was one of the largest employers in Viewfort. All of these people, all of those who have franchised to operate shops at the airport,
Yes, sir.
everybody would have to reapply.
Every single entity.
And these companies, these foreign companies, look at it. Take any of the security companies in St. Lucia. When they have their business that has its headquarters overseas, they influence the process so that they establish other companies to do the business. So when you had a shout for 30 years, we would not have control of our airport.
That is right.
It would be under the control of a foreign entity. And you telling me,
put solutions first.
is this is the Labour Party that is putting St. Lucians first? We have managed our airport for more years than the Labour Party can dream of. We've managed it well. Our people under challenging circumstances have managed our airport, and today you don't want them to manage the airport anymore.
Can you believe it?
So that is what I say to the people of St. Lucia. Do not allow yourselves to be fooled by the Labour Party. The information is there for everybody to see. So when you tell me the Prime Minister took a loan for the airport, it is like you get a contract, Champagne, to do transfers You are presently a red cap.
Yeah.
You provide the service at the airport. But let us say Sandals engages you and say, Champagne, I'm going to give you a contract to transport tourists for me on a daily basis from HIA to the Sandals Resort. You don't have a vehicle. You don't have the money for a vehicle, but you have a contract in your hand.
Yeah.
You go to the bank looks at you and the bank says to you, look here, you don't have the collateral, you don't have the deposit, but your contract is valuable enough.
Right.
Because while what you make as a red cap is $2,000 a month, and your repayment on the loan is really going to be about $2,500. But from that contract, you are able to make $10,000 every month.
Yeah.
How the bank will not give you a loan?
Exactly.
So, Labour Party could not raise money when they were in government because they could not show the financing institutions how they were going to pay back the money.
And that's all that was.
Once you can show how, now that is where Prime Minister Alan Shasney has led this country effectively. He has done a very good job in stabilizing the economy, in putting the country on a path of growth and development. Contrary to what we have fared well with COVID. People have lost their jobs. A lot of people have suffered. But it could have been a lot worse on the Labour Party.
That is for sure. Oh, way worse. Way worse.
Because even when there was no COVID, it was so bad. You know, we forget quickly in this country. We forget how people were struggling. I heard the fellas talking about one set of contractors getting. Every major contractor is overwhelmed with work in this country as we speak. Champagne, they don't have cement. You can't get stone. You can't get materials.
Does it not there? I heard that. I heard that.
Works have slowed down because you cannot get the supply that is required to get the work done. All other countries are now following suit from what Prime Minister Alan Shasney did.
Even the US.
Even the US.
We heard that.
I mean, Grenada has just announced a massive program of infrastructure because everybody is now realizing COVID will be around for longer than we anticipated.
Exactly.
And if we do not do things to stimulate our economies will die. And that is the foresight that the Prime Minister has. And that is why he was able to position the country. Tell you IMF gave us money to give people and we didn't give people. If you do that, they cancel the loan on you. They don't know institution gives you money and you can just go and do what you want with it. So whatever the money was given to be used for, that is what it has been used for. And at the end of the day, we have to account to these institutions.
Yes. And the opposition parliamentarians know that, but yet they give the wrong information to the people.
But they will try to mislead the people into believing that if they come in, they will just be giving them money.
I remember there was a house sitting about a month ago, and the member for Castries South said outside the house, I'm looking to see if this time the government will give some money to the people. I heard that. I could not believe I was hearing that. So they're still indicating that the government is getting monies for COVID and they should give it to the people.
Champagne, we have received aid, but remember, most of these loans, it has to be repaid.
Yeah.
There are stipulated conditions. You cannot run away from the fact that if these are the conditions, that it must be met. If you do not meet these conditions, Because remember, some of the loans are not disbursed immediately. And if you do not use the loan for the purpose for which it was intended, they can recall and demand that you pay back that money.
That's right. Mr. Minister, was there ever a loan or money given to give to the St. Lucian people?
No. The way it is worded, these are COVID-related financing. You go to... In other words, these are rapid credit facilities that was made available under the COVID arrangement. But some of it was for budget support, and it's stipulated. You could not use the money for recurrent expenditure, like going and pay public servant salaries. You couldn't do this. All of the loans stipulated what it was to be used for. So when they say COVID-related activities, so how did we get the respiratory hospital going? All the COVID tests we are doing, all the quarantine facilities, all of that. You think we had some money stacked away to do that? We didn't have that. So the funds were being used. Some of it was for budget support. Budget support to keep the economy operational. Because when you are not collecting the revenue, you still have to run the hospital. The police still need their supplies to work. The boats that was patrolling the waters, they still need their equipment. They still need their fuel. So COVID brought in a lot of additional expenditure to us. But I can tell you, no government can just take a loan that is given to them. Remember, at the end of the day, the Prime Minister is not the one signing checks. The Prime Minister cannot direct and say, that money, I don't want it to be used for that. This is what I want it to be used for. The Director of Finance, who signs on most of these things, would be the one who's responsible. The permanent secretaries in ministry. I can go to my PS and I can say, PS, I want you to issue that contract to that person, and he says that this contractor is not qualified or justified. I'm not the one signing the contract. I can only make the recommendation. So to make people believe that, oh, the Prime Minister just went and took money that was not designed for that. No. There are strict guidelines that govern the budget process. And that is what I'm trying to tell the people of St. Lucia. The Labour Party will tell you everything they think you want to hear. But for anybody to give you money, they must first have money.
That is true. That is true.
For banks to loan you money, they must have confidence in your ability to pay back. Kenny Anthony said something happened that never happened before. They could not borrow. Not my words, his words. We could not borrow. Philip J.P. stood in the parliament and said if they were to be elected, they would have trouble getting money.
That is right.
So if you're going to have trouble getting money,
how are you going to give money?
How are you going to give money?
Exactly.
After you already state under the present condition you'll have trouble to get money, you already say all the things you will remove. That reduces the amount of money that you... Now these fellas will say anything to win an election, but when they win or when they become the government, they just back away as they have done every time before. So I said I wanted to focus on my constituency, but I want the people of St. Lucia to understand. They are talkers and they are workers. The Labour Party can talk. They can make you believe that they can do all things. You've had 15 years to prove that they can do what they say they would do. What is their track record? So let's go to my constituency. I want to compare my 5 years in Castries Southeast with anybody. And Television crew,
Yeah.
while I'm speaking, I want you to run photos on the screen. People don't need to see me. These are more recent projects. We've not even done interviews.
Yes.
Champagne, today we had a presentation by the Taiwanese. And the Taiwanese have really impacted the lives of
yes.
the people
yes.
of St. Lucia
So
in a
decades.
very positive and meaningful way. You know, I want the people of St. Lucia to understand, as much as we are benefiting from the Taiwanese today, you remember how many things the Labour Party did when we established diplomatic relations
Oh my goodness.
with Taiwan? All the things they had to say in the parliament, all the things they had to do.
I could remember the Ambassador Tom Chu. The amount of things that we said.
That's a video, and that's a, I don't know, maybe they have it upside down, but that's a video of a road, a footpath in Formage, not Formage, Font Club. That's in the Lacroix area. So, you know, just seeing the works that we are doing in every area of the community.
What is this?
Now, that is the Bexon site where we are building the indoor facility.
Yeah.
That is the drainage that we are putting to control the water. So at the back of the primary school had a drain that, so we have diverted most of the water away from the school.
Oh,
we have backfilled the area and we have put proper concrete drains. And these concrete drains will channel the water away from the school and away from the indoor facility. And that's a big indoor facility,
Yeah.
almost 20,000 square
Wow,
feet.
that's big.
Almost the size of half an acre of land.
That is big.
Is that building?
That is
If
big.
you can switch the pictures, we have other pictures there. Well, that picture would be a picture of the Goodlands playing field. And I'm doing some upgrading because Goodlands benefits both Castries South and Southeast.
Yeah.
So that's by the George Charles Secondary School there.
Right.
That field was there, not in use for a while.
Yeah, that's what I know. It's been abandoned. Yeah.
That's a road that we started, and part of that's the earlier pictures, but the later pictures, that road has been cast, that is in the Badi Chaussee area. Champagne, Castries Southeast, we are turning the whole of Castries Southeast into a town. Remember I told you, we are going to have, cul-de-sac is becoming a town. That's a culvert that failed in the Foncodra Road in Forest here. And now it used to be just those round culverts.
Right.
You know how long that culvert had been there? That culvert was there since the time of Crown agents when Maroc was the representative
70s.
for Castries Southeast. And she built that road down there. And that culvert failed. Part of it failed since when I was in opposition. And it is.
So now what is happening? Is a bridge or just...
we are putting a box culvert.
A box culvert, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a small
It's
bridge
kind of
in
bridge,
essence.
yes.
So these are the works. We have a lot of works going on. I am telling you, these are footpaths in the Sarot and different communities. Champagne, we have more work going on in Castries Southeast. And I challenge anybody. I can match my last 5 years against all the representation of Labour Party.
Well, here's the thing I want to do. And I don't do that as often as I should, but I want the Honorable Philip J. Pierre not to come here, to send me
Now,
his
you
photos.
see the road we were looking at a while ago? And I told you we've already concrete that road?
Yes, that's it now.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And you know, Champagne, all of these projects are done by people within the constituency. That's the community center, the
Odsa.
HRDC in Odsa.
That is a big place.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the amount of stuff that we have done that's on the inside. There's the downstairs and there's the upstairs.
What
also.
are the different units that's going to be in this one? You have a daycare. What you have?
No, they are not. No, we did not cater for daycare because there's a preschool right on the other side.
Right.
So we're thinking that if we're going to run a preschool there, we will allow the lady who has the preschool on the other side to be the ones to operate there, because you don't want to infringe on business that people have made private investment into. Yeah. That is next to the Bexon Primary School. That is also the site preparation, and they have started casting the foundation for that building. Now, what I am saying to the people is that the Labour Party comes and they talk.
Look at the size of that foundation.
Yes. Now, that is 1/3 of the foundation.
That is 1/3 of it?
1/3 of the foundation that has been done.
What?
The other 2/3 has not started. They are doing it in phases. I mean, and I went there on a holiday and look at people who are there working.
Employed.
Look at people, to see trucks hauling material from all the way in the valley in Dennery to down there. I mean, these projects are revenue generating projects for the country. It is not just the construction. It is the amount of work that is being done. All of that is the drainage that is being done to channel the water, because you know Bexon is an area of high rainfall. So the projects that we are undertaking, and that is a DVRP, World Bank funded project, being undertaken by Jacob Construction, that's Jameson. And he won that through competitive bidding. The Odsa Community Center went through competitive bidding. That is the Capac area that is being prepared there, Champagne. So when you look at the work that we are doing in Castries Southeast, I want to challenge anybody from the Labour Party. Come and match Dr. Kenny Anthony, because you have to look at leaders. Dr. Kenny Anthony has been Prime Minister for 15 years in Viewfort. And Philip J. Pierre has been,
well, you could say deputy, because he has
deputy for 15 years in Marshall. That's the same bridging forest. What I want the two of them to take their 15 years of representation and combine it. I know they've been there for 25 years, but I'm looking at their terms in government. I want them to take their 30 years combined together and match it against what I have done in 5 years in Castries Southeast.
Send it to GVD TV and let us play it here. Let the public see.
And not just me. Minister Bradley can do the same in Shrewsbury. Minister Bradley can do the same. Minister Fede can do the same in ancillary canneries. Don't talk for Herod. Herod can mash up all of them combined together.
That's a fact.
Now, don't go to Mikud North and South where the PM and Gale is. Or if we go, let's go to the smallest constituency, Dennery South. If you take what Este has done in Dennery South in the last 5 years, is more than what Dr. Kenny Anthony and Philip J. Pierre has done in their constituencies combined together for the whole 30 years.
It is true. No, seriously.
No, Champagne, I am ready to take the Labour Party on this challenge. I am ready for us to match project against project, because people didn't elect us to go to cocktail parties and take flights and travel here and travel there. People elected us, Champagne, to be able to do work for them. Now you see that road. I believe that's a road in Bradley's constituency.
Oh, yeah?
That is the Park Estate Road.
That is big. That's a wide road. Long, too.
You see that Park Estate Road? As a young man, I used to go there and buy animals around Christmas time and things down in Park Estate. So I know the Park Estate Road from times.
Now, for the people
That
that
is
don't know
where-
where Park Estate is,
Huh?
for those who don't know where Park Estate is, that is in the
Saltibus
Saltibus
area.
area. That's right.
So you can access Park Estate from two areas, from the River Dore end, or when you go up to Saltibus, you can come and you can cross to come back to Balka
That's
and
right.
find yourself on the Saltibus Road itself. That is where Dr. Anthony,
That's where he's from.
I believe originally,
Yeah.
he's from that general area. He spent 15 years as Prime Minister. And ask the people at Park Estate how many times he promised them
How many times they've seen him?
that they would have done the
Yeah.
and who it had to take? Minister Bradley Felix.
Yes, sir.
So not only is Saltibus getting a carpet road for the main road, you also have a concrete road on the other side. So you know what that means? The people have options of which route to travel. Now, I know that they are putting some pressure on Minister Bradley because the road is not completed to join with the Balka end. But what we want the people to understand is that we are on track to deliver the projects. Bradley promised projects and he has delivered the projects. We got delayed on the 2 community centers, but now the contracts have been issued for both Roblo and PI community centers. You have housing projects happening in Choiseul that never happened before. Nobody was mindful about the people in Choiseul.
And you're talking about a first-time
A
parliamentarian.
first-time parliamentarian, his first term in government.
First term.
He has done more work than all the Labour Party
Combined. All of them.
candidates combined
them.
together.
All of them. And I want them to send the slides for me here. We will play it for Sanusha to see.
So, when we talk about projects, when we talk about what is happening in the areas, Champagne, the people of St. Lucia. Now, I have never heard a government being accused of doing too much work before. People elect you to work. Ou savent Labour Party ka babye tous les jours.
Top
Ka di
cement.
gouvernement ka fait trop travail en pays.
I never heard that. It's only in St. Lucia you could have such nonsense. Only here.
We're doing too much work. But that is what you elected us to do. We were elected by the people. We were not elected by the Labour Party. We were elected by the people of St. Lucia who believed in the vision and the plans of the United Workers' Party to deliver on projects for the community.
Now, you know what you just showed there was the last year. If you have to take your entire 15 years and put on that screen, it's going to take us all night.
Champagne.
All night.
Ma ka même changer bag. Moi ta fait tellement bail en premier 5 l'année.
Exactly.
Ma ka même changer ces projects.
sure.
Nous just capable about project
Yeah.
pour abouez.
That's right.
And the Labour Party is out there campaigning. And you know they're struggling to find things that we have not done.
Yes, yes. It's true.
When they ask my opponent, what is it you will do that guy has not done? He say he'll plan more entertainment and sporting activities.
Yeah. Really?
You understand? So, you can faire plus fête.
C'est ça, yeah.
But pour moun al en fête, yon pour l'argent. Bon, c'est un baflambo, yon kan l'argent.
Là tout seul. Là
So-
tout seul.
Champagne, we cut some roads. I don't know, they cut short on my pictures, but we
Camera crew, we have some roads we need to show.
we just cut a road up in Chopin.
Yeah.
And I want to say special good night to the people of Chopin, especially the Ford family up there. I was up there yesterday evening up to very late. When I tell you, Champagne, One more term in government, and the whole of Castries Southeast will be like a town, you know.
Well, I've said
Everywhere we'll have concrete road, footpath, proper drainage, retaining wall. Travail nous a fait qui pas bon chimé. Ni plus passer ça qui bon chimé on savent. I mean, when you look at projects that we have implemented, and you know what, Champagne, on a footpath like this, we had about 8 contractors, each of them at about $6,000.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time they implement, now if 8 contractors, each of them employ 3 people,
Yeah.
that's 24 people
Yes, sir.
who would make $1
Make a
from
dollar.
this project.
Yeah. And an area to benefit them.
And an area to benefit
Okay.
them. And we
With
go
the
to
footpath.
most of the houses in the area,
Yeah.
and we give them the work in the area.
Look at how beautiful that is.
That's the road in Badi Chaussee. And if you saw where the people had to walk
Yeah.
to go there, the land was narrow. We had designed it for a footpath first of all.
Yeah.
But then I said, add 2 feet to the footpath.
Yeah.
In an emergency situation,
Yes, sir.
a vehicle can go down there
Yes, sir.
and pick up somebody who's sick.
Yeah.
Somebody who made their groceries can drive their vehicle down there and drop their stuff at their
Yes,
home.
sir.
I believe in improving the lives of the people.
That
And
is
I'm
right.
not here boasting.
No.
It's not money from my pocket that is doing the work. It is money that the government has raised to execute projects for the people who elected it into office.
Like Sir John would say, the people's money.
It's the people's
That's right.
money.
That's
But
right.
we are using it well to do the things to benefit the people.
That's right.
Now, Champagne, I even go to Bexon. Bexon have more projects. Sunday Fair have more projects.
We might have to put all those all those projects.
Champagne, I cannot.
Look at the beautiful one there. Where is that one?
I believe that one is in Sunday Fair area.
Okay.
These are footpaths that are being prepared. Now,
Okay.
contrary to what they say, you do Tutba say director what? This contract in Sunday Fair, you know who is the main contractor on the project? Renault, CIE. So le yo ka do nou ka discriminate against moun,
Yeah.
or yo ka even do fresh start ki ka hen tout travail la.
Chababou,
CIE has 1 contract. Jacob Construction has 2, and Dean Nicholas from the Valley has 1.
Express that Boko others have there.
4 projects.
That's right.
And Renault has 1 in Dr. Kenny Anthony's constituency. Leyo Kadu nou pa travail en constituency opposition. And Larry Shoes vie for même project la ki ka fet Sunday Fair ka fet and Larry Shoes vie for en constituency Castries Viewfort South. And you know what? The people from my office told me the leader, well, the former Prime Minister, Dr. Kenny Anthony, wanted to meet with them. I said, you owe the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, the courtesy of going and meet with him and assisting him in what way you can, because he is the elected parliamentarian for the area. Yo pateka one me fave sa.
No, yes.
They used to leave me standing in the corridor, waiting. Now, I don't have to agree with Dr. Anthony's politics. But as a former Prime Minister of this country, he is entitled to certain protocols that must be extended. Not necessarily to him as a person, but to the office that he held as a person. And it is time that we show respect where respect is due in these areas.
Well, I want to elaborate on that, because the respect will come from you, but not from them. They don't care, Mr. Minister. You have said it on numerous occasions. $30,000. How much money you needed to complete the Bexon Square?
35,000.
35,000, and you couldn't get it in 5 years.
I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So, when we look at my constituency, and if I talk about major projects that are happening, we have 2 roads in Tetmac happening. We have all the projects I spoke about in Sunday Fair, Bexon from the Catholic Church all the way up to the Sarot Junction. Concrete roads, concrete drains, footpath. We have the Bexar market happening. We have the Odsa Community Center. We have all the drainage and footpaths and things that we are doing in the Badney area. We've cut about 6 roads in the area. And we already spread quarry waste on all of these roads that we are talking about.
It's about just parlance. That's a fact.
These are words that have happened already.
That's
I'm not talking about what will happen, you know. Now, the Lakwa to Odsa Road is on the Nationwide. Nationwide is stretched with work that they have. They have to complete the Saltibus Road and some other roads. But they have already started the drainage works. So they have engaged some subcontractors in the community to start fixing the drains in the area there. Imagine I passed there, I saw the drains happening. I didn't even know they had engaged some subcontractors to do some basic drainage work in some areas. That is nationwide. The MAC, from the MAC junction, the Bexar Highway, up to MAC, that road is going to be done by CIE, that's Reno. A resurfacing of the entire MAC road. Yet still they tell you is one set of people getting work. How is one set of people getting work? When every project I have mentioned, there is a different contractor on it.
And locals,
And locals.
Yeah. Locals.
All of them locals. So what I'm saying to the people, people can come and promise you things. What have they delivered before? It's not a promise. And I said I would say it tonight. Champagne, there's an attempt to stifle my campaign in Castries Southeast by the Labour Party. But I've always told the Labour Party, I'm always miles ahead of them. You see that whole thing that happened with that church incident and everything? That was an attempt to undermine my campaign in Castries Southeast. And as time goes by, I will elaborate more on this. Because as time goes by, you begin to learn more and more as to what was happening behind the scenes. Because people who know talk. I have a lot of information, but because I cannot substantiate the information, I will not come and mention it until I have my proof and my evidence. Now the same gentleman who said he not my friend, but I telling people I'm his friend, came to me.
Wait a minute, the same gentleman?
Yes, came to me and told me he did a job for a certain amount of money, but the job was on somebody else's name. So what can I do to help facilitate him getting the payment? Because the person on whose name he did the job is not in St. Lucia.
So you got to draw.
Now, mwen vle yo porte plainte contre moi à sous ça. Because I don't play that kind of politics. But if you want to be going down that road with me, and I'm still waiting on Philip J. Pierre to play the tape that he claims that he has. He has to play it. And if he cannot play it, if he's caught, I have to go with him to try and get him to play it. I will go. Because you see, the Labour Party cannot continue to lie to the people of St. Lucia. Every day, day in, day out. You all want to lie about everybody in the UWP, make up stories, come on radio, say what I said is so egregious you cannot play it.
You can't play it.
Now, I am saying on Inside Castries Southeast tonight, on 93.1, that I was approached by Mr. Henry
Yes.
to make an arrangement to try and facilitate a payment for him for a job that was not on his name, but is he that did the job.
That's corruption to the highest level, eh, Mr. Minister?
Now, mwen vle yo vin di sa pa vwe. Because I'm not the only one he went to. He went to at least 5 other persons to ask them to facilitate the payment. Today, you want to look at me and you want to say I saying things about you. I was not saying nothing. But if you all open the door for me to say things, then I have enough things to say. Now, I didn't bring my glasses. Listen to this. In addition, one disbursement to Ada Inc. was noted from the minister's account, totaling $33,500. The check was cashed on September 8, 2015, one day prior to the contract noted above being executed. You know what I'm reading there, Champagne? Ada Inc. got paid $33,500 check and cashed the check one day before the contract was signed.
But that's not supposed to happen. The contract was signed.
Okay.
No, but wait a minute. I don't listen. But how does that happen, Mr. Minister? Something you getting paid before you even sign for a contract? How is that possible?
No, from the minister's account. Who was in charge of the minister's account?
Well, the member for Denminov.
Okay. Remember when they said there was not a minister's account? I came to the parliament. I got the documents of the minutes of the NLA board meeting, and I presented it in the parliament as evidence that there was a minister's account. Now, by when you ask minister's account, sir, you see, I keep on telling people, our politics does not have to descend to this. But if you want to call me violent,
that's right.
And if you want to say, yet still, you don't like about I have accounted for everything I have done in government. I have challenged the opposition on several occasions to come and challenge me. And I still have that challenge open to Philip J. Pierre, Kenny Anthony, Moses Jean-Baptiste, Alva Baptiste,
and Dr. Anthony.
And Dr. Anthony. Il n'est pas un gouvernement, monsieur pas ça.
Il est pas ça, débattez-vous.
Non, il pas un gouvernement.
Oh, il pas ça, oui.
He's in opposition.
That's right.
He has never served in government as a. I challenge any one of them, or all 5 of them, together. Let us come and have a discussion about our stewardship in government. You know what a steward is? Stewardship in the context of my church, and it's the general, is that you are put in charge of something that is not yours.
That's right.
So at the end of the period, you have to give an account of what you have done.
Make sure everything goes well. Perfect.
I want them to challenge me on my stewardship. And I want, nous pas besoin pièce moderator. Yo 5 ans ça vini ek moyen. Ek nou ka parler, ek nou ka raisonner. They choose the medium through which they want to do it. Because at the end of the day, if I run through things, people want to come and represent the constituency, and they have more projects than anybody in the constituency.
You're talking about they personally or their company?
Their company. Their company. I wanted to read some. Listen to this, Champagne. We noted that the total value of payments towards capital works total $7,506,801.44, exceeding the budget was $5 million for the works. But the budget went over by $2,506,844.44, or 50%. So the budget went over by 50%. So what was approved, they overspent by 50%. Now, Sultan Saki fet la. Le yo pale bay ze moun, nou sa vze yo di. Sa yo di yo fe, se sa yo ka fe. So, I can analyze the contracts for you, you know.
So $43,000 that is a moun de vle.
Now,
Hey.
list of project managers we noted. List of project managers. Tanse project manager. Ada Inc. Joachim Henry, managing director, and Keith Abbott, surveyor. Ministry of Physical Development, National Lotteries Authority, and project managers not specifically named but noted in contracts. Okay? And I can run through. Under Ada Inc., contract value, $80,000. Preparation of a minimum of 20 sets of work contract documents for the rehabilitation of the following public facilities: Marigo Plainfield, Larry Mabuya, Viewfort South, MPC. That's, I guess, is that the Maslin cricket?
Maslin.
I'm not, no, that would not be that.
And what?
MPC. Lafargue, Montgouge. These projects, the preparation, the terms were 50% to be paid after all works after the works contracts was prepared. Now, if I give you a breakdown, answer. Contractor, and I will not name all the contractors because I've given myself that mandate not to come and name names that are not necessary. I wanted to show who the principals were of Ada Inc. There was a contract value for $420,980. The resurfacing of the Marigo playing field. Within 4 calendar months, the works included making good the perimeter drain, placing 6-inch thick roseau sand and regrassing. Header payment terms, 25% after signing of contract. So you me your gwen sabale fil 25%. Now, The only time you give advances on these things is when you have a performance bond. And a performance bond is if you don't execute the project, it means that they can cash your bond for the advance that they gave you. So if you give somebody a 25% before they'd have raised the block,
Yeah.
or brought in a yard of sand and they stop the project and they have the 25%, what is your recourse? All of that, you know what that was happening from the minister's account.
Okay. You're going to start the law, eh?
Thanks, sir. Painting and court remarking on the Viewfort multi-purpose court. To paint the court and to remark the surface. How much was the contract? $51,000.
To paint the court.
To paint the court.
Yes,
51,000. I choose not to mention the name of the contractor. Plumbing and carpentry on the Viewfort multi-purpose court. What's on a multi-purpose court that you have to do carpentry work?
I'm trying to figure what it is.
Maybe there's a building.
Maybe the backboard of the basketball.
Maybe there's a building associated with it. $65,850. All of these, 25% paid upon signing of the contract. So, come see a contract là. Me on 25% of 65, 15 fours.
About 11,000 there, about.
No, about almost 16. 15
25
25%
of 65.
So, yeah. So that would be almost $16,000. Well, about $16,000. Just you sign the contract. Me $16,000.
Si tu avais fait or not,
Today on the CDP, when we give somebody a contract, they have to go and find their money from SLDB, from NRDF, from wherever.
Yeah.
Execute the project, and when
$12,000. Moi te gavin pour ça, pour ces $12,000 de la porte là, mio a sous livre là. 12,000, ma contracteur m'a dit mi pèse la porte. Mi c'est de la porte là, laisse faire ça là.
Now, when the crew goes down to Viewfort,
Yeah.
I want you all to go on the multi-purpose court in Viewfort and tell me what work they have for a carpenter. I can understand plumbing. Maybe there's a building, so I don't want to cast judgment.
That's right.
Maybe there's a building there. But to have plumbing, carpentry on the Viewfort multi-purpose court, 65. So we have painting and court remarking, say 51,000.
Yeah.
Plumbing, carpentry on the Viewfort multi-purpose court, 65,800.
Penti ça, c'est penti à Donald Trump te servi en les pleines. Et ça m'a dit.
Masonry works on the Morgouge multi-purpose center, 19,000. Spectator bench at Morgouge multi-purpose center, 21,600. C'est un stadium. Badousa,
Oui.
where dirty bar qui bol. Moi, je vais monter I want you all to show the benches that are there.
Yeah.
From the information that I have, $65,000 for the benches that was there.
About 6-7 real benches. Moi, oui.
Ek mwen vle mene hot there ba pou an ti chop ba yo coupe adamon ek 3 piton. Ek deba is having $160,000. Minister's account and Ada Inc.
Tag team.
And today these fellas want to come and talk about
people.
management. Fencing of the Morguge multipurpose court, 34,800. Drainage and resurfacing of the Castries playing field, $289,704.
For drainage. See?
For drainage and resurfacing.
See?
And I can tell you, the Castries playing field was resurfaced when Minister Dominic Fede came into office. He was the one who did the grassing on the Castries playing field. And if anybody from Castries want to call tonight, they can call later when we open the line. So when you look at that, Champion, because these fellas in the Labour Party think that we don't have information, that we don't know what they have done. Answer. Rehabilitation of the La Grasse Oblé playing field, $199,236.
See?
And construction of 550 square feet reinforced concrete change room for Assau. 550 square feet of concrete changing room, $226,418.
The caller that spoke on Andre Paul's program this morning, he should see those things.
He knows.
Like say, they book MBC, makami sa dan envelope by so na mene by so deme po matin. Les autres qui parlent about de la porte là, mi c'est ça ni parle about na mene by so deme. At the envelope. Could you believe that?
$226,000 for 550 square feet works out to be $410 a square foot.
See?
Now, ask any contractor in St. Lucia, the average house that is being built, whether it come into $300 a square foot. You telling me a changing room?
Yeah, changing room. 410.
Almost 500 is hotel look a be like to buy of the day. Kick having $500 a square foot. That is what was happening under the minister's account. And people want to talk about putting these people in office.
Yeah. That's why they couldn't borrow, because they are taking all the money already.
And the sad part of that is every one of these people, and I can give them the dates that each one of them got the checks. Okay? The one who got the 34,000 and got the 25% got it on the 12th of April 2015. The 289,000 for the drain and resurfacing. So think of that, you give a man 25% of $289,000.
That's almost what,
50,
60 something,
25,
66,000
50,
about.
almost 70 plus
Almost
$1,000.
yeah.
So a man go and sign a contract,
you give him
and you just
70,000.
give him $70,000 to go.
Can you
with.
believe that? The man could just say, you know what, I'm not doing anything, and leave that alone. $70,000 a Portsley.
But the record will show that there are payments that are made and the works never started. Champion, I know I have the general information, but there's a forensic audit going on. That is why the Labour Party is so desperate.
Yeah.
Because they know what they did in government. How can you account for these things? Is that how government operates?
Yeah. The matin I mean Pabisa buy out about MBC. $12,000 la pot la millila asusa. Tomorrow morning. Bright and early before you get started, I bring that report for you. I hope you all read them.
Eda Inc. On the 15th of October, project value 40,000. Marigo Plainfield, Larishus Mabuya Valley Multipurpose Court, Viewfort South Multipurpose Court, 40,000. Edai, 2016, 3rd of the 9th. No, that would be the 9th of March.
Yeah.
Professional fees, 30,000. Eda Inc. The 10th of May, 2016. 10th of May, you put a candidate.
See?
$10,000. Balance professional fees contract.
So, Mr. Minister, if these guys had win in some way the 2016 election, you finish up inside. Finish. St. Lucia, I hope you are listening to the numbers. If these guys had win that election in 2016, you finish.
And you know, I can say that based on the research, that it is evident that the values of the last two payments do not align with the contract terms, which stipulates payment of 25% of the contract value. So you pay plus passer ça yo te. Après yo pas même si posé payer avant, yo pay plus.
See?
I can give you more, you know. Eda Inc. again, the 25th of February 2016, $20,700. Professional fees for us or changing room facility. So where ki moun get in charge facility ya, ki fay cost $400 and something a square foot? Okay. Eda Inc. again, the 9th of March 2016, $26,750 professional fees, Castries Plainfield. So fil la ki pa jamais fin nou anje ya. Dominique ten pou anje il ay vini ya. Tan comme professional fees ki paye la. Eda Inc. again, on the 9th of March again, $12,500 professional fees for Olibo Plainfield, and that was the right pronunciation that I missed out earlier. Olibo.
That's on the same day. Same day with Castries.
If you see the things these fellas did in government, and I suppose to sit there and take all of this flack from these people who their track record is very questionable. Their transactions and their activities leading up to the 2016 elections under the minister's account and the facilitators. And I can speak about the facilitators because I have been approached to try. How you asking me, Makamawado?
Oui, ou dit ça?
Majan, ou pas connaître moi, ou pas parler ban, ou pas te jamais une relation avec moi, ou ka vin di moi, so ou bol fait tellement, ou ka vin di moi, moi sav project là, c'était project ou, même si y a sous nom à l'autre monde,
ou savent ça?
Pour faciliter paiement là-bas ou?
So qui m'a dit savent ça?
C'est une belle question. Ma camarade li so qui m'a dit
ça? Et ou pas Jean, il même dit ou pas Jean.
Oh, nous savons c'est lui qui fait travail là. Ou qui fait travail là project là sous nom à l'autre monde.
Oui. 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 Ache moun nan qui fait project là non, pour idiot.
Moun n'a pas mort.
Ache moun nan.
So, à sous qui raison? Moun n'a pas vle siye because moun n'a savoir lettre et dit ok, travail ça a été fait. Si travail là été fait.
Oui, si fait.
So I am unavailable. You can get a notarized letter so that the person can request that the payment be made to a third party on his behalf.
Yeah.
Now see a non-bold face I say. Pour venir approach moi as a minister of government. Pour dire moi qu'on try facilitate un paiement qui parte à sous noi. Mal. Si un gouvernement qui ça y fait?
Si, il va quitter pour highest level là, si vous engage comme ça, et vous va faire ça bien ça.
You know,
Si.
people come and they present themselves. Now, if you go into details, and I have so much details, because I kept on saying to the Labour Party, stick to the issues.
Yeah.
Do not look for trouble because y'all cannot handle.
Can handle the truth.
You live in a glass house. Do not throw stones. Y'all want to come and talk. For a search engine room, the contract was paid in full. Final payment certificate was issued by Ada Inc. on the 9th of May 2016, noting successful completion of the project. Technical audit issued. Deemed the project somewhat complete, but notes that the project was overpriced and requires further work before the handover to the community. Now, I didn't have to do any research to know that the project is overpriced. 550 square feet for a changing room. Almost 500 EC dollars a square foot. Presque $600 par chaque pied. Anybody will know that that is overpriced. Now, there's a certificate that declared the project was completed and everything was done that needed to be done. Yet still there's a report, a technical report showing that the project was incomplete and overpriced. Yet still tout moun draw full line.
Tout moun draw.
Mwen vle Sean Avalia as minister qui te ne responsabilité, mwen vle wepon sa. Le hot vle vini, e kot vle parler, e kot vle point dwet zot asou lot moun pou di moun fè dis. I can account for everything I have done in government.
Ma di yo, ma apwe diyan le long yo, ek se hu ka mene do ba mo about de la pot la. Ba yo swear.
Okay, so let's go to Viewfort, Dr. Kenny Anthony's constituency. The contract was paid in full. $65,850. Yet still there's no indication that there is a report from Ada Inc. that the project was completed.
Me munjo.
No, let me tell you exactly.
Yeah.
There was no final report or any payment certificate from Ada Inc. for this project. Yet Ada Inc. professional fees contract was paid in full. So yon pa ka hen document. Mais yet still tout l'argent qui te doit payer. Now mwen di yo, si mwen mati, mene mwen l'audience, si mani evidence pou backup sangadia, pwe demache la hot ni pou pwe. Because you see this foolishness that has passed in this country, that these fellas did all the things they did in government, and then you want to turn on people, and make it look like is we. I can account for every dollar that came through my ministry. everyone, every project that I was in charge of. You can go back. You had 5 years. You carried out all your investigations. You brought the best man you could find in the US. I pat sa jwen nan yen asumwe.
3 million.
Le hot fini, hot levin parle, papi show.
Nous pouvons même parler about changing room Maigoa. 650,000 now.
Plumbing and carpentry. View Fort multipurpose. The contract was paid in full. With less than 2.5% retention fee. Now you know what the retention fee is supposed to be? 10%. And you know why you hold off 5%? Depending on the nature of the project.
Outcome, yeah.
You know what the retention fee is? If there's something that is defective,
That's right.
after how many months? Then if the person does not fix it, you can use that retention
money, yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
Why there was no retention? Why was only 2.5?
2.5.
Also, there was no final report or any payment certificate from EDA Inc. for the project. Yet, the professional fees was paid in full to EDA Inc. So, as Madi la pan reporte, mwen di nou pasa jwen report la.
Oui.
So, es yo même ni report la. Es yo pa jeme an twe report la. Ek si report la pa jeme an twe, ki manye yo draw?
Belle question.
You see? Now, I don't want to spend my whole night on this.
I would be happy if you spend the whole night on it because the books are the top buyer someone. Top buyer you can continue doing. They continue to say the nonsense and thinking that everybody's like them. I would be happy if you could spend the whole night until tomorrow. I may top muna
So,
betis you.
my about 10 years.
Oui.
EDA Inc.
Okay.
Contract number 2. Professional services. Ek mwen vle yo di sa pa vre. Nga ba yo dat contract la. 15th of November 2015. $155,000. Now, so at tout l'argent sa, nou ka pale about EDA Inc. la. Combien l'argent ou ka jwen?
Ah, 2-3 millions kay pale.
Bon, an gade sa. So, the second contract value was $155,000. Tansa. That included services in Lafag, which was also included in contract number 1. So you pay pour Lafag about contract number 1. But about contract number 2, if VA power pour payment a Lafag. Now, es la teni cost overrun a Lafag that you teni pour cover up about contract number 2. More di person vole ou sa. Moko ive la. Mwen jeska di yo, ki manye yo ka account pou sa. Le mwen ive pou le a, pou disi lan vole, ngay di. Mwen jes vle yo explain ba. Ki manye ou peye contract number 1 pou Lafag, e contract number 2 still ni Lafag. E san diferent project. Bon, mwen sa ba ou yi, tan ki sa yo ten pou fe pou $155,000. Preparation of design, survey, and contract documents for the rehabilitation of the following sporting facilities. Montfortune playing field, Denry playing field, Lafag playing field, Marigot changing room. 155,000.
Et pour design document by.
Oui.
C'est See? Telusha, I hope you're listening to the numbers.
Let me tell you something, Champion. The more now, I even go into details. I told you I would stop there. Resurfacing of the Mon playing field within 4 calendar months. The works included making good the perimeter drain, placing 6-inch thick roseau sand, and regrassing the playing field. 385,815.
See?
25% paid upfront upon signing of the contract.
About $80-something thousand.
Presque $100,000.
Upfront last year. C'est là, mon
So-
check comme ça, ça just finished to buy party.
So,
See?
Kenny Anthony, Philip J. Pierre, that is what you all presided over
Yeah.
during your term in government.
You know, the
That-
next time you come, we'll have to make a count, an additional amount of all the Ada inks. You on the million?
Champagne,
You on the million?
I have spoken before, and I've said to people, politicians take jab at each other,
Yeah.
and we say things. But there's factual information that cannot be denied. All of these checks that I spoke about there that was paid, the evidence is there that the checks was paid. The minister's account, the evidence is there for the minister's account. What were the procurement rules? And all of this was happening in an election period.
Yeah.
You think it's by accident? Hodia yo vle do flabo pou ese ka fait travail pour élection.
Oui.
Depuis premier jour électé
That's right.
nous commencer
That's
travail.
right. You have ça. You have ça.
So c'est pas just pour élection nous ka fait travail.
have ça.
Now Champagne, I want to inform the people of my constituency tonight that the cabinet has made a decision and endorsed the decision Crown lands, property being occupied by persons for a period of time, and that is in the community of Odsa. No, that one is Bele. That we have secured the cabinet decision to develop or to make lots available in the Bele community to people of the community, not to exceed the rate of $3 a square foot.
Wow, good. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Now, moi te promet résident en constituency moi that moi kay mette bagay en place pour yo joindre access pour terre avant élection.
That's right.
And I am happy to announce tonight that this has happened for the residents of Bele
Yes, sir.
and the new properties that would be available. Secondly, we have made the arrangement for Odsa in a similar fashion. The government had acquired 11.63 acres of land in the Odsa community for people who have been occupying these lands for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
That these properties will also be available to the people within the price range of $3 a square
Oh,
foot.
good stuff.
It will not be higher. That is for the people who have been occupying the land. If somebody is coming to buy a new lot, that's a different arrangement.
Yes. Yes.
That is what my representation is about. improving the lives of the people. There are people who have occupied these lands for 50 years or more. There were lots of issues. The government acquired the land, and we have now made that land available to the residents. They have filled out the application forms. It's going to the Crown Lands Department. And as we come into the month of June, I expect to be able to assign through the Department of Physical Planning to have the lots assigned, because we've demarcated, we've sent the plans to the planning department. The people of Odsa, the people of Bele, you will get access. We did the one for Bexor. There's about 15 acres behind the Bexor Primary School. That has also been approved already.
Great stuff, great stuff, great stuff.
So I am talking about more than 250 lots being available in the constituency of Castries Southeast for residents of these areas to own a piece of land, to be able to pay a very concessional price. So think of it, Champagne. A 5,000 square feet lot will not cost you more than 15,000 EC dollars. That is a government that is working for the people of St. Lucia. I am, and I know Bradley is doing in his constituency. Minister Ezekiel is doing. I had discussions with Minister Estefan. We are working on some projects to make more lands available in Dennery, in Mikud, in Soufre, throughout the length and breadth, ancillary canneries, every constituency. Even in Grosile with prime property, what Minister Montut has done in the Labon area. Champagne, let's open the line.
Yes. I think we came up with that Ada Inc. and that minister's account. They remember what they report and I found photocopy by NBC. They mun na kigala kabal about lot mun cafe this cafe that de la pot toute la yo aswa de la pot mi de la pot la de me matin na mena bazot o taku de me na mena pot li egli tout hein. Senator, we want to say a beautiful evening to you. It is 5 minutes after the hour and we have a call coming in already. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to the minister.
Good evening.
Long time I haven't spoken to you.
All right.
I could see on your face that you are well. Hope the rest of the family is well.
Yes, they are.
And nice to see that you are looking very strong, and I hope you are. And I hope the Almighty will keep you in His arms.
Thank you.
And thank you for the wonderful job you are doing for your constituency and by extension, our country. And I want to congratulate you for the information that you have given tonight. And I hope what I want to ask, if these documents could be made available to the public, is it lawful?
The documents, the information that I have can be made available because I don't give information that I cannot back up with the relevant documents. If you realize, I am very cautious about, because I don't want to label and paint people in a bad light for political reasons. But if you're a lousy manager, you're a lousy manager. It's not my fault. It's not me that made Labour Party do all the nonsense they did in government. And today you want to come and tell me, "Lau te in charge ou pas sa manage." C'est lau pas in charge ou vle di mre ki manage. C'est quoi batsman qui allait prendre doc un wicket là. Et pataya si ça peut villian na ka di c'est magie l'autre boucle ka.
L'autre bail là c'est ça. Tout ces bail là yo ka faire. Mais là, yo fini. C'est eux qui pliquent rap.
Oui,
moi, comment moi pour défendre? Moi, je dis yo, ministre Guy Joseph a dit apporter évidence la zone. Porter.
Oui.
Ils ont pas qu'à porter.
Et quand parler.
Hein?
Ek anpale yo ba fay.
Yo ba fay
Yo
champagne.
pesa. Yo ba nan.
So champagne.
Yes sir.
Ou vai collect se copy moi.
Vamos mene sa ou ba ou deme pou maten na mene yon ko MBC pou yo read li deme pou
C'est
maten.
book ça, docteur. Champagne. C'est book ça, pas vaut.
Yo
Pas
ba
pied
vo.
ça qui
Non,
là,
yes.
yo pas vaut
Yo
ça
ba vo
pièce.
sa. Yo ba vo sa. Ok, Golan, merci.
Moi ni bye bye pour madame ministre.
Ok.
Parce que ministre te promet il can garder about affaires senior citizen ni boy passer examen encore. Qui rehote ça?
Oui, nous ka arranger ça parce que moi-même pas jamais place legislation ça. But laisse ça passer à le parlement. On peut via un parlement pour ça changer ça because c'est part of act là. So si c'était just regulations là, then nous te ça fait différent.
Okay.
But it will aller for a whole process. Moi pas believe that's all right. Là regardez Wajma yon ya ministry il pas bon. Moi kadou as minister because examiner pas ka même toi bon machine nek se moun nan.
Oui.
Il ka just fait se moun il ka doubout la ka ve. C'est comme ça I mean système ça just pas bon et moi feel ça c'est point pied à ce grand moun en pays et ma d'accord avec ça. Mais moi vle moun changer c'est Kenyan Tony qui passe loi.
Oui.
Et là moi oppose li en parlement ou ça dit moi li qui ka arrivé l'âge là avant. So si un moun te pour un problème
C'est
ça
lui.
c'est li qui te pour problème.
Oui.
C'est pas moi arrivé là.
Mais c'est just méchant.
Oui.
Laissez bouk ça ka passer vieux loi yo.
Oui.
Et qu'on ka try point li ba yo that il pas bon. C'est réponse là yo
Oui.
ka ba.
Oui. Thanks a lot, Golan.
Okay.
All right, have a good evening.
But I want to
Thanks for
assure
holding. Good evening.
I want to assure the people that we will change this piece of legislation.
Yes. Hello, good evening. Thanks for holding.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Minister Guy. Hi, Champagne. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Doing all right.
Thank you.
I have an issue with Minister Guy. I had my little thing going on today, Minister Guy. You said to call you so you could have addressed it, our little campaign. I called and I think it went straight into voicemail.
So here's what happened. You called in from Orlando
Yes.
because we were in cabinet, and when we are in cabinet, we cannot use our phones. And I came straight from cabinet to the studio. So I've not had a break in between to be able to deal with this matter. But I am
Okay.
sorry that I could not have reached out to you today. I thought it was Sunday the event was supposed to be.
No, because today's Memorial Day, so we use that.
Oh, because my understanding was on Sunday. Because if you had told me it was Monday, I would have told you that I would be in cabinet on Monday. So from cabinet, I came straight to the studio for the program. I even got here a few minutes after
that
the
is
time.
true. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very
I
sorry
forgive
about
you,
that.
but-
I hope that I can make up for that to the people up in Orlando.
No problem. Don't worry. I'll get in touch with you.
How did it
But
go?
we,
How did
we
it
were
go?
represented very well today. We were all dressed in our yellow shirts.
Amen.
All right, that's very nice. I hope I get some photos.
Okay, I'll try my best to get it to you.
All right.
But last night I got yours. 90 put this Creole. Yours were your member, your resident from Castries Southeast. Nomla he tried to call him, and we took many of them via late. He sent me a report for me to look, and he's telling me all kind of nonsense. And when I ask him certain questions, he's saying to me, "O pasetli si o pasav kisakali."
Vrai?
Oh my goodness, he sent me some report, some annual economy and financial review.
Yeah, that
I
nonsense has been
went through
circulated.
it, and all these things shows is when the pandemic hit, the economy went down.
And that is
That
what
was
happened
not true.
everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But even the
I'm
report
trying to-
there, so caller, let me tell you, the report they have
Yeah.
circulating is doctored. It's because the language that is used there is not the language of the ECCB. Or so there is some factual information in there, but they also they put in their own input, because what the Labour Party is doing is circulating a lot of false information.
Yeah.
I remember a day a lady called me, and the lady tell me, oh, she saw me saying to another lady that he just kuma say Haley. And
Yeah.
I said that in the parliament in relation to something that Philip JPS said.
That's right.
But what they did was they took that piece of my voice and they showed a lady that was in distress
That's
crying,
right.
and then they fit that in to say, that is what I said
Yeah.
to the lady. And then another elderly lady in a community, I was going around, I can't more really move. Somebody came on here, I can't even wow
That's
di
right.
madam la
Oui.
madam la kahele,
Oui.
ek mo wow kadisa.
Yeah.
That is what the Labour
Oh, yeah.
Party
Wow.
does with information.
Oh,
So when the Labour Party tell you, they don't even believe what they say themselves.
Yeah.
Far less for people to believe them.
Yeah.
So I am telling him, I can see the work from up here. I can see the work that's going on in St. Lucia. I even went as far as saying to him, where I live, there are people on my block that have lost their homes. And
Yeah.
this is America. People have lost their homes. The government is not just going to say, hey, ukapet kayu,
Me
makai
okay.
kayu ba.
Oui, me
This
okay.
is not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Everyone is going through it, and he went on and on and on. Eventually my husband came and said, listen, if you are in business, do not let nobody know what party you in. You go with the flow.
Amen.
If Labour is in power, you go with Labour. If UWP, because you're trying to make a living. But you cannot be out there, you are Labour and want UWP to help you, and then you're bashing them. You know, it was crazy. He went as far as telling me, girl, I am going to warn you, don't come home and try and vote, because you might not go back home.
What? You kidding?
Yeah.
That is
That's
the
how
nature
bad
of
My
he said.
goodness.
If SLP
My
wins,
goodness.
if SLP loses, things are gonna get really bad. Moi di fair play. Moi pa me let person, moi pa me let rien. God is my
See
protector.
power you
And I tell him straight, they're not gonna scare me into not coming home.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're going to scare me. But it's just, I mean, I had a whole bunch of people up here. My nephew was visiting, and he went on the phone with him, and he went as far as saying Dominica is more developed than St. Lucia. And I
My
was like, are
goodness.
you kidding me?
Yeah, you know
I
what?
used to Dominica. Dominica had one traffic light, and that traffic light was not working.
Yeah.
He tell me half of the traffic light in St. Lucia is not working.
Caller, that's the
And I
Labour
asked
Party.
him-
That's the Labour
It
Party.
was just ridiculous. When I asked him about Chasney and how some of Massey's employees can buy the shares, the man said to me he never heard that in St. Lucia. That's a lie.
Yeah, that's the Labour Party, caller. Well, I'm happy that you went ahead with your event, caller, and we want to say congratulations on your event.
Thank you. So I want to see the pictures.
We have a lot more to come. Hopefully, next time Minister Guy will make himself available.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
All right, caller.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Oh,
right.
and I will get in touch with you later this week about the ID.
Yes.
All right,
No
beautiful.
problem.
Thanks a lot, caller.
All right,
Have a
thank
good
you.
evening.
Have a blessed night and keep on doing your good work.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
caller.
you.
All right. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Thanks, Champagne.
Good evening, sir.
Good night, Minister.
Good night.
Mr. Minister, I saw all the works, or some of the works that y'all done, but y'all showed it off in your assembly. Are the people in St. Lucia blind? Are the people in St. Lucia stupid? I've seen a work that's going on in St. Lucia, never in history. I've seen so much work going on all over the country, in every constituency. I mean, everyone. Are they stupid?
Everyone, caller, including the Labour Party areas.
Do they want to stay dumb backward and stupid? Another thing, how long your Castries show will be going on?
This is our 34th episode.
And I fail to see any
32.
of them. I yet to see any supporter or member of parliament debunk anything that you said. I yet to see anyone, SLP supporter or member of parliament debunk anything that you said. Are solutions stupid? My last thing. The SLP came on you like some like some bad dogs. They want to say, I want to see St. Jude's. I want to see St. Jude's. Tomorrow Thursday. And you gave them a criteria. You gave them a criteria, Mr. Minister. Have they met your criteria? No.
Not yet.
No. Those guys are bullshitters. Mr. Minister,
Yeah.
I said once, I said twice, I said 100 times. Those guys need locking up. They need locking up and throw away the key.
Yeah.
I'm not a bodily, you know. You get P.I.O. King, Mr. P.I.O. King, to build one of those islands that he built in Dubai. For those guys that just blocked them up and throw the key.
Yeah.
He builds islands. He builds islands in Dubai. I know all of that. But he's one of the world's best engineers / architects. He does all of that. So please tell him to build a special island. Make one of those islands, especially for the SFP, lock up and show the key.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Thanks a lot. Thanks for holding. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening. How are you, Champagne?
I'm doing good, thank you.
How are you, Mr. Minister?
Good evening.
Okay, Mr. Minister, from Saturday I've been listening to you and your voice sounds kind of shaky. What's happening to you?
You say your voice sounds a little hoarse.
Yeah, I've been struggling with my voice for a while now. I've tried many things for it, but none has worked well yet, but it's getting there.
Okay, you should try some warm honey.
Somewhat.
But anyway, what?
Lemon honey.
Well, I've tried quite a few things, but I guess it will come back eventually.
We'll recommend We'll recommend my checkup for him with some nutmeg. Yeah.
I'm sure God got me, no. You campaigning and said that. And that's one of the reasons why I called. Because we have my representative is one. So we have like 16 other candidates. I would have loved to see them on the show. You know, Guy is giving us a lot of information. He's telling us about his constituency, what he has done.
Yeah.
But we have more candidates. Why aren't they on the show? Why aren't they
caller, so Saturday on our program, Crossfire, we have decided to start off with some of the projects that have been done in all of the constituencies. We're going to start from the north all the way to the south and the west. And we're just going to show you some, but we were going to try to show every single project before elections. Hello, are you there? Hello?
I'm talking about the physical appearance. Hello?
We're there, we could hear you.
Okay, I am talking about the physical appearance of the candidate.
Oh, you're saying that the candidate in person.
I am listening to my rep every night.
Yeah.
I am listening to my rep every night because that's my rep. You know, I am tired, I want to go. But I'm listening to him. So if this has my attention, the other people get the attention. So I think it's important. I think Guy Joseph has been on the show doing a lot. So everybody should get, there are 7 days in a week. We need them to come. We need all the fire. We need all guns blazing.
I agree,
so,
caller.
we need more
And
people.
tomorrow.
Guy has done a fantastic job, and his constituents are going to vote for him because we're hearing what he's doing. We're seeing what he's doing. So this is just my suggestion.
All right, caller, but
Thank
all
you.
of the candidates
It's a
will be
great
there.
suggestion.
Yeah.
I will endeavor to try and bring in a candidate with me maybe by my next program. But generally speaking, what we are trying to do, because I started that program for just to focus on my
Your
constituency, because I felt that my ability to be, especially with COVID, in the constituency, the way, because I have a very special relationship with the people of the constituency, and so I felt I needed to open a way to communicate with them.
Yeah. Thanks for holding, caller. Good evening. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Captain.
Good evening, sir.
Minister,
Good
mouth
evening.
open, story jump out.
Huh?
I said mouth open, story jump out.
Yes.
So what am I interested in? Who has issued these contracts to Airline?
Who what?
Issuing those contracts to Airline.
Yes.
Who was
issuing the contracts to Ada Inc.?
Well, NLA, National Lotteries Authority, and the payments was being done through the minister's account.
So SSDF had...
No, it's not
No,
SSDF.
it's
It's
not
Ada Inc. It is a separate company.
I know, I'm just asking whether SSDF did not issue any contracts to Airline.
Whether SSDF issued, I don't know. I would not know. I did not look into that area, but it's an area that would be interesting to look into.
Okay.
Now, I am telling you, I am not against anybody getting work. But when these people want to come and present themselves,
Well, you have a static somewhere.
when these people will come and present themselves and say, I am interested in the people, you're so interested in the people, and all the jobs that should go to the people, you took
go
it for
to
your
you.
own
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
and you running to be the candidate.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if I was the one when I was running, that every job the government was giving was coming to me?
Yeah.
What would, so that's how they put the people first.
Yeah.
That's how they empower people. I mean, look at it, calculate for yourself
Amen.
the amount of work that went to a candidate,
Yeah.
because the election campaign was in full swing. Look at the amount of work that went to that candidate. And you telling me there are people there struggling to get a little job?
Yeah.
And then these people want to come today and say, oh,
Talk about
we'll be
it.
there for you, we'll give you
Yeah.
work when we come in.
Yeah.
But you want to work more than the people.
All right, caller.
So, Minister, hold on. With all these figures and facts and evidence, and I would say over costing of votes, over costing of contracts, what will be the next?
What would?
What will be done about that? The evidence is there.
You see, the issue is that this is NLA, National Lotteries Authority, and it has its board. So, and they control the affairs. So, if you have to do anything, is the board of the former members of the board of the NLA, you have to take to task on that.
So that's what I'm asking. What?
And I'm subject to
That to
correction,
be-
but to my thinking, I think JDR used to be a member of the NLA. So, but I can verify that. If that's not the case, I will apologize for it. But from the information that I have received, I think that may be the case. If anybody is listening and can verify, you can always send me a message to verify that. But There are some interesting people who made up the board of NLA. When all of these things happen, and these are some of the people who want to tell people what happened and what is happening on the UWP, but have they reported on what they did when they were in charge?
Yeah.
Champagne.
Yes, sir.
You made a statement. I hope to make the photocopies for them.
Well, the minister said these guys are not worth getting those photocopies.
No, once people cannot think for themselves, even though you give them information, what they're doing with it, they'll just do a mess and talk nonsense and find a way to justify. If they could find a way to justify what happened in the church after I didn't say a word, you think it's a document they will not try and twist and turn? I don't know. I think there are sensible people in this country that can weigh the evidence for themselves, that can see what we have presented, and that will help them to determine whether Philip JPA and Kenny Anthony is fit to be in government in St. Lucia when that happened on the day once.
All right, caller, we have some more calls. Thanks a lot.
They're listening anyways.
All right. Have a good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Minister. Good evening, Mr. Champagne.
Good evening to you.
I am responding because I heard the diaspora, the lady from the diaspora spoke.
Yeah.
And what has been annoying me is that people are calling out there with fake information to give the diaspora. Now the diaspora responding, they're trying to tell the people that they're not in St. Lucia. What they do not understand is that for 2 years, a little over 2 years, the diaspora now are kept very, very well informed about what goes on in St. Lucia. They've never, ever been so engaged as they are now. So they get all the information, and we don't give them part information. We give them everything so that they can disseminate for themselves and can make their own decisions. So when they're going to go about, and I don't even need to tell you, because if you have to know the number of crazy things, only today, these persons were writing on on the government Facebook page of the diaspora office. They're writing to the diaspora office and they're asking for the list of contact details of diaspora, so that they can write and get to the diaspora. Can you imagine that? You think it's crazy to give people people's email addresses and phone numbers for you to get in touch with them? Just because they know that the diaspora is informed and they're being informed and they're being engaged and that they know. So they're trying to reach them with all kinds of things. It's not going to work. The people are wise, they're smart, they are interested, they're open, they want to know the truth about what's going on in their country. They listen. They pay attention, they look at what is fake and what is not. They look at who is willing to answer direct questions and not just speak at them. They're looking at who can stand up and answer, and that is what is going to happen. Let me put them on notice. When they engage try to reach diaspora, the diaspora who are very well informed and have been informed and know where to get their information will challenge them on the information. So they better know from now on. I put them on notice. Go to the diaspora with the truth and go to them with facts. Don't waste your time and go to the diaspora. The diaspora are sharp and they're well informed and they get the information straight and they know how to do their business. I'm putting them on notice. Stop this business of going to the diaspora for a whole set of fake information because we are coming for them.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Colin. Thanks a lot. Beautiful information.
Now one more call.
One more?
It's going up to 11.
Hello, good evening. Hello, thanks for holding.
I promised that I would end early tonight.
Hello.
I don't want my followers to fall asleep and they can
fall asleep, Mr. Minister. Your followers never fall asleep. We have calls coming in from both lines. Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good night, Mr. Guy.
Good night.
Comment est?
Moi, assez bien. Mr. Harry, moi après voir et moi dois visiter.
Mon content tellement. because comme yo tout by flambeau c'est yo qui tombe en dedans.
Ça oui.
Pourquoi c'est vous dedans là? Bon Dieu toujours et puis because moi ça au couvert et puis la droite bon Dieu là et tout.
Merci un peu.
Et puis là Dieu pas pour Dieu ba ou à ça qui a fait là. Mais ça moi ka dire les Joachim là nous finir puis les qui viennent fort qui passer par la mer. Because ou n'y si pas et bon Dieu et tout à toute raison à tout marché et moi ça ou pas marcher ou yon comme marcher puis bon Dieu et tout. Bah la mando point force point courage à tout ça qui nécessaire pour faire.
Merci un peu, Mr. Harry.
Ok, Mr. Harry.
Mais quoi dit ou caillou moi?
Toujours?
Mais quoi dit?
Okay then.
All right. Yeah, bonsoir.
Oui.
All right, that's the last one. You are our final caller this evening. Hello.
Good evening, Champagne.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you, Mr. Minister.
Good evening.
I just want to say great program tonight.
Thank you.
I am happy about the information that you give out, Mr. Minister. I want one, like you said, I would love it that they would change that. Yes, because they are playing a music that they cannot dance.
That's right.
And I am telling you for a fact, after this election, some would end up at hospital, the room someone wanted to go and visit at St. Jude's. They will get that room so that they can go and rest their heads. Yes, and Mr. Minister, I wish you all the best and God's blessings.
Thank you.
And no matter what, you're a child of God. And
Amen.
nothing can take you off track because I know you're strong and you're capable. God
All
bless
right.
you. Good night,
Thanks a lot.
Champagne.
Good night to you, my brother.
All right.
Hello?
So, Champagne,
Hello. Hello.
Mr. Bunda. Okay. Bon, écoutez ça. Vous c'est dernier call là, ok?
All right.
Merci. Bonsoir.
Moi ka dit bonsoir pour le ministre.
Merci.
bonsoir.
Bon, moi n'y a pas pour le ministre bien court.
Oui.
Moi voulais faire ça, moi quand j'ai une pièce call from Andrea. So puisque il était pour couiller Andrea, by Andrea en commission ba moi.
Oui.
Ça c'est Mr.
Va.
Oui.
Ok. All right. Moi, je sais tout ça qui vous faites là. C'est faute, moi. C'est pas faute, lui.
All right.
Ok. Nous allons manger ça.
So, maintenant, montez dans le dimanche?
Oui.
Ok.
All right.
All right, then nous allons.
Nia bonsoir, Mr. Va.
All right. Merci à vous, M. Champagne.
Okay, Nia bonsoir. All right, Senator, we have come to the end of the phone-in period. Tonight it was a short one. The phones are still ringing. The lights are going up. But the minister said that was going to be our final call.
Yes.
So my apologies on those of you who continue to call. You will not, your calls will not be answered. Mr. Minister, any final words?
Yes, I just want to read a message that I got.
Yeah.
The person said they could not get the line. But they said none of these projects was tendered. Inflated costs to family contractors on changing room in Marigo. While today they are preaching tendering.
Yeah.
So when they were in government, they gave direct awards like there was no tomorrow. But today they want to tell you, and I challenge them, show me which projects that went for tendering on these projects that we are talking about. So Champagne, I want the people of St. Lucia to pay attention to what is happening. The Prime Minister is going to call elections. When he decides that he is calling the election, he's made it clear that elections will be within the constitutional time.
Yeah.
He will not go outside of the constitution. So Labour Party can spread all the propaganda that they want. This country is in good hands.
Amen.
The evidence is there. I continue to challenge the Labour Party year after year, in government, in opposition, that those who have served in government and are still in the parliament, let us have a discussion. Let me quiz them and they can quiz me.
Right.
And let's see who can answer the questions.
Yeah.
I don't need no lawyer to answer no question for what I've done in government. Because la pa na vocal in my office me ka fe travail.
That's right.
So, c'est yo qui fait bail ek le yon question pour répondre. C'est avocat yo ka ache pour répondre question. Ma besoin avocat pour répondre question. Ek man pour écrire rien. I don't have to remember what I said yesterday, because once you speak the truth, you don't have to remember what you said before, because the truth does not change. C'est là où kamati hodia ou ka di a story e kou ko oublier ça ou di hodia ek dem ou ka di a long story. People of Castries Southeast, it is there for you to see. And I have invited the people of my constituency. In fact, you know what I'm doing, Champion? You see my canvassers? I'm taking them on a tour of the constituency.
Right.
And I'm taking them on a tour of the country. I tell them, I don't want you to go and canvass for me, and you don't know what I have done in the constituency. Neither do I want you to be canvassing and saying, vote for UWP, and you don't know the work that UWP is doing. So I want to take them to Soufrière to see. Take them to ancillary canneries. Let them see what Dominic has done down there. Take them to Choiseul. Let them see what Bradley has done down there. Take them down to Micoud South to see what the PM has done. To take them to Gale's constituency in Micoud North and see how she has transformed. And don't talk for Dennery Village and what Dennery South, what Este has done in that area. Then we go to Minister King's constituency, Minister Ezekiel, Minister Spider, and even in central Castries where people are every day. Sometimes they do not notice the things that Minister Sarah has done. Look at, we have raised expectations. We have created an atmosphere where people now believe that government can do things. So you know what happened? They ask you, how you doing that over there and you not doing over here? God, in his wisdom, took 7 days to build the earth. He could have commanded everything into existence in a moment. He took his time and he created all things.
That's right.
This government, this United Workers' Party government, continues to work, and the evidence is there. If you pass cul-de-sac and you see the level of activity down there, look, the airport, they are starting the pilot. The works continue at St. Jude. I mean, they said we were not doing national projects. Look at the highway in Grozile. Look at the sidewalks and the 4-lane and the roundabouts, how these are taking shape. The work is there. The evidence is there. So, elections will come and elections will go. I cannot tell people where to vote. I would love everybody to vote for UWP. I want to send a strong message to Philip J. Pierre for the disrespect that is shown to the people of Castries Southeast. I want the people of Castries East to vote him out.
He's gone.
Because you are not fit to be a leader. For you to condone all of these things that are happening, all of the threats, all of the violence, all of the activities, and you as a political leader of a party will not say,
not a word,
we don't subscribe to that. For that matter, when people attack other persons innocently, you all say we stand with you. That is the leadership of the Labour Party today. And St. Lucia needs to rid itself of these fellas who call themselves the Labour Party and get proper people to come into the Labour Party who's better suited to hold an office in this country. We cannot continue to allow a leader who has failed in representing his own area to destroy our country. That cannot be. If his leadership or his representation is any example to go by, then St. Lucie fini.
Finish.
St. Lucie fini. Si Philippe J. Pierre jamais trouvé quoi, Premier ministre en St. Lucie. St. Lucie fini quand il pas amené vie.
Même manière machin fini, c'est comment you can regarder. It's easy to judge.
So we have a choice to make. The evidence, like I said, go around my constituency. Look at, don't let Labour Party come and tell you. If you go to Derba, you go on Leba, you go on Baba, you go to Tilanfair, you go anywhere, Lacroix,
the people still Tilanfair.
Chocolate City.
Ah, yes.
You know, the length, you go to Forestier, you go to Fromager, you go to Bel Air, Sandife, Sarot, Trois Pitons, therefore, Capitol Hill, anywhere you go, Goodlands.
But Tilanfair, you pass it, no? Chola Chocan. You pass it, no? Tilanfair. Bonsoir, Tilanfair. Tout ce monde Tilanfair, bonsoir.
What I'm saying, and let me tell you, Champagne, I came into politics. I never believed that I would get to love the people of the constituency the way. But we've built a relationship over the years. And these people know me. They know that I am there for them and I am genuine. I'm not a pretender. They know when I don't agree with them, I tell them straight off what you want me. They can tell you. I go around the constituency. Everybody is asking for something. You know what I tell them? Some of the things you want, I cannot do now. I will not tell them, oh, I try first about and go and start something and I cannot finish it. You see the roads that I cut and I cannot pave it? I told them, I'm cutting the roads. I'm putting the quarry waste on it now. But I cannot pave that road before. Because we don't have the resources. I've always been genuine. I've always been honest with the people. The Labour Party has promised people more things. And if you give them the whole budget of the country for 5 years, it cannot deliver everything they have promised in Castries Southeast.
Alone.
So that tells you that these promises are nothing more than lies. No, these are just lies. That's a bluff. Nobody can do everything in a constituency. But we have done more. I have done more than anybody before me. And I want to measure what I've done against what they have done. And I said it, and I challenge Philippe J. Pierre and Kenny Anthony. No organization can rise above its leaders. The leader is the benchmark. We have a successful man as the Prime Minister of this country. Everybody wants to make his complexion the issue. It's not the complexion of a man. It is what is in his heart.
That's right.
There are people in the Labour Party who are more white than him.
That is for sure.
In their hearts, they are more white. In their thinking, they are more white than he is.
Yola.
They are discontented with who they are. But we have a genuine person as the Prime Minister of this country. A man who loves this country and can live anywhere in the world, will be welcome anywhere he goes in the world. He has chosen to be in St. Lucia, to build his country. And he didn't wait to come into government. He is not like some leaders who spend all their time in Guyana and other places. When St. Lucia was going through the struggles, he has built in this country. His family has created an environment. And let me tell you, before he got into politics, Champagne, his father was lauded by the Labour Party.
That's right.
Who made him in charge of NDC?
Dr. Anthony. Labour Party, eh?
So today, the same man that you made head of NDC to drive investment for you, when he is talking about what is good for St. Lucia, because he no longer support what you're doing, you want to make him look bad and you want to attack him, attack his family. We cannot subscribe to politics of hatred, neither can we subscribe to politics of violence. You heard what the caller from
Oh yeah, from
Orlando said?
Yeah, you won't go back home.
That if you all come down and vote and whatever, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, my country.
And you believe it?
Now, let me tell you something, Champagne. You see, we have to take the Labour Party head on.
Yes, sir.
And that is what the Labour Party cannot deal with.
Yeah.
That is not the days when UWP backed down and kept quiet and did not take on the Labour Party. This Labour Party, and Sky FM is taking them on head on. I compliment you and your team.
Thank you,
my people of Castries Southeast. And when I say take them on, we are fighting. We're not violent people. But we're going to put things in its proper perspective. And on election day, I want the Labour Party to lose its deposit in Castries Southeast.
And every other city.
You know why? For the disrespect that you all have shown to the people of Castries Southeast. And like I said, I'm starting my campaign. I will begin to deal with the raw, hardcore political issues.
That's right.
Because I'm not sitting by. And if the Labour Party think that I'm going to sit by quietly and let them attack and that I'm not going to fight back, it's in my nature to fight back.
That's right.
I don't sit down there and take blows. Y'all tackle me in church. I respect God's house. I will always be careful. Because ma vle pièce malédiction l'église tombe en l'air. I don't want no curse to fall on me.
That's right.
Okay? When it comes to God's church. And I respect all churches where God is worshipped. Whether it be Catholic, Baptist, Bethel, Jehovah, Church of God, it doesn't matter. Once it is a house where God is worshipped, I respect that place of worship. I conduct myself in an orderly way. Makache malédiction. Les bon Dieu, nom sa maudit ou ek sa pa y servi ou. Mais si c'est bon Dieu qui fait ou payer pour ça ou faire, il pas aisé.
Mauvais,
ma vle ça. Moi toujours changer. Un homme forestier il dit, si yo met AIDS devant y, ki yo met malédiction, il ka choisi AIDS, parce qu'il prend malédiction. Because il n'a plus meilleure chance pour survivre avec AIDS. Because là on est malédiction, la vie ou minable. Nous pas vle piège en malédiction. Ka représenter Castries Southeast. Nous voulons moun dat bon Dieu béni.
Oui.
Et si au fil c'est pas moi qui ride moun nan, pas problème avec ça. C'est constituency qui ka decide qui moun yo vle. But moi vle di constituency Philip J. Pierre, pas ni pièce OSP by Castries Southeast. Pour ça qui ka fait là, et ça li Philip J. Pierre ja endorse en Castries Southeast. And the people of Castries Southeast will not endorse that. I hope they get an independent candidate that can run. So si yo pa vle vote ba, yo kay vote ba independent candidate la. But Labour Party candidate la pas supposé gen deposit li en election qui ka vin la en Castries Southeast. Good night Castries Southeast and God bless you.
Ubadi said listen good night. Now the Castries Southeast too selling.
Good night, Castries Southeast. Good night, St. Lucia,
That's right.
and everybody in the diaspora
That's
who's
right.
following. I know I was told my brother Rightis is following the program. I know he is listening. Good night, Rightis. And all my other family members, special good night to all of you. I know my wife is following the program tonight.
Oh.
Champagne, she message me and tell
see.
me too long.
Mais j'attends nous dire, then you call the
Yes.
10:40, so it's
So
okay.
if I blame you,
If I blame you,
also,
most, right.
good night to everyone and God
Yes.
bless you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Minister. There we have it, St. Lucia, the 32nd episode of Inside Castries Southeast. And we have finished a little early tonight, but that is all right. The phones are still lighting up, but unfortunately, you'll have to call us next Monday. Try to get your calls in as early as possible. Tomorrow morning, the man, Norbert Williams, will be here at 6 o'clock to bring you the program. Keeping It Real, radio edition, and then I'm going to take over at 9 o'clock. We are supposed to have the Minister of National Security with me here tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and our program would be based on his candidacy into the Viewport South area where he's going to whoop Dr. Anthony out of office, but I know the calls are going to come in regards to what is going on the crime aspect. But the most of the program will be based on his candidacy. Until tomorrow morning, St. Lucia, we are going into the BBC. And don't forget to say thank you to the great God above, and always, always show love to one another. We love you from Sky FM. Have a good evening.
Bye.
The signals break for those that were methodless.
Bye.
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new